Good afternoon to everybody. It's Tanya Tester. We want to thank Ronnie and Ruth Cotton for sponsoring this Dvar Torah. And the Dvar Torah, or the sponsorship, is for Ronnie's mother, Fega Bat Shmuel. She was an extraordinary matriarch, and her love and wisdom meant a lot to Ronnie and to Ruth. And we daven and we dedicate that her neshama should have an aliyah b'gan Eden. So yes, we want to thank Ronnie and to Ruth so much for sponsoring this short Dvar Torah. What I wanted to speak about now on Erev Purim is the whole inyan of drinking on Purim. It's one of the obligations that we have on Purim. As the Gemara says, Chayav Adam lebesume bepuria, that a person on the, has to, the pasay means to drink, but it also means to be like enamored with, to have the aroma of the drinking. Ada lo yada, etc. And this has always generated so much of a discussion already from the time of the Talmud. And what I wanted to do is maybe to just to offer maybe two insights on this whole inyan of drinking on Purim. It's very interesting to note that there is an explanation of the Magid Mesharim. The Magid Mesharim was the Rebbe, was like the angel that appeared to the Beit Yosef, to the Shulchan Aruch, and like revealed to him certain halachot, etc. And these halachot, or these discussions that were communications that there was between the Beit Yosef, in other words, the Shulchan Aruch, were recorded by him in another book called Magid Mesharim. In it, he says that the reason, or one of the aspects of entering the Chag of Purim with a fast beforehand, and we don't have that. Okay, we have Tani Bechorot, but we don't have a fast usually before festival, not before Sukkot, not before Shavuot. Why are we having Tani's Esther before? Of course, there's a simple reason why that is, because before the Jewish people were delivered, they prayed and they fasted. So that preceded the Nes of Purim. So of course that's correct. That's a simple explanation. But over and above that, he says there is this kula, there is this the protection that it's in order to enable us to enter into Purim with a certain sense of being solemn. And it's because we, first of all, to realize the kedusha of the Chag, and also it serves also to be some sort of protection. So says the Kav Yashar, for what's going to follow, and that is there's going to be a lot of eating, there's going to be a lot of drinking, and therefore the fast that comes beforehand, that sort of balances it out. That already gives sort of an atonement up in front of what is going to about to happen. Okay, so having said that, which is the point that I'm making by bringing this explanation, is to underscore and to express already through this very explanation that people sense that there was like a problem in this inyan of the shtia. But basically, I mean, there's no one says that one has to be act like an animal, but we have a protection, and that if we do things like L'Shem Shamayim, we don't have to know all the secrets of why we're drinking. But basically, the halacha was like that to drink like much more than usual, either to one's completely confused, or as the Rambam says, till one falls asleep. So what is the point of such a drinking? So the Sfat Emet has got a very fascinating explanation. It's based on what we said that at the end of the Megillah, we say a bracha, and in the bracha, everyone knows this bracha. We all sing it: Shoshanat Yaakov, Tzahala v'Samecha, etc. And in the second line, we say that Shuatam Haita Ayita Lanetzach V'tikvatam B'chol Dor Vador. We say to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you HaKadosh Baruch Hu, have been Shuatam Hayita Lanetzach. We say two words which are sort of contradictory, because the word Hayita, Shuatam means your salvation. Hayita means past tense. It was, but it says Lanetzach. It means forever, for eternity. So what we in fact saying, says the Sfat Emet, that what happened in Purim is actually something that happened and something that will always happen. In other words, that Hashem will always be with us and he will always save us. So what's the chidush here? What is the chidush? What is the novelty? The novelty is that even though, and so the Sfat Emes understands that at the time when the Purim miracle happened, the Jewish people were not really deserving of such a miracle. And nevertheless, Hashem stood by them, he saved them, and so it will be in every single generation. So the point is that of the Sfat Emet is that the salvation was, even though that generation, the Jewish people then was not deserving. Now, the drinking, until the person becomes dizzy, that symbolizes for the Sfat Emet it's a manifestation. It's like a metaphor for not being worthy. When a person's worthy, when a generation's worthy, so then they're very clear thinking, they're very exact, they're very focused, they know what they're doing Torah and mitzvot. So therefore, being very alert, that is an expression of deserving. When someone is confused, when someone is dizzy, when someone's in a stupor, you can't really say that he's deserving. He doesn't know what he's doing, Bachlal. He might be even sleeping, as the Rambam says. So that's the point. The point was that the way that we express this confidence in this, and we remind ourselves of what happened in Purim, that Hashem saved us, even though we weren't on the level of being deserving. The way that we express this idea is through action, through bringing ourselves to a situation where we are dizzy, we are confused, right? We're not all together because we've drunk so much, and yet we're confident that Hashem will he will save us like he saved us then. So that's the reason then why we're drinking dafka in this way and to this extent. There's a second explanation, which follows basically this explanation. I think that everyone who speaks about Purim, speaks about the pnimiyut of Purim. In other words, what was going on what goes on in the deep recesses of the Jewish soul, right? Everyone who looks at Purim and tackles Purim, gives explanations on Purim, that is always the point that we ultimately get to, is that there's something about the connection of the Jewish people to HaKadosh Baruch Hu over and above that which is conscious. There's a special segula, as Rav Kook said it, there's a special treasure, there's a special inner kedusha, that an inner attachment that the Jewish people have with HaKadosh Baruch Hu, which can never, ever be extinguished. And that's the whole idea of also, as we know, of dressing up. The Jews look at one way, but really inside they're another way. Now, to get back to the point, which was the point of the drinking, so there's a very fascinating explanation. We drink in order to show a contrast to that which Amalek did. Now, the word Amalek, if everyone, I think, knows these gematriot, the gematria of Amalek is 240. The gematria of Safek, which means doubt, is 200, also 240. The gematria of Atzlan, right, is also Atzlan, hesitancy, laziness, is also 240. The common denominator between all these things is that Amalek wanted to detach the heart from the mind, to always bring about the heart and to extent the mind working together are very, very very passionate about something. And now comes along Amalek with his power of destruction. The destruction could be in the form of always to be hesitant, but maybe it could be like this, maybe it could be like that, maybe we're not so sure. Maybe God did take the Jewish people out of Israel, out of Egypt, maybe he didn't, maybe it just happened to be like random events which happened to came together. So this is the destruction that Amalek does, the separation always of heart from mind, and doubting even what the mind says. In fact, in Hebrew, there's a word which comes up now in we're starting off Vayikra, the book of Korbanot, and in it the Torah describes the action of shechting a bird. When the Torah speaks about shechting animals, it uses the word shechting. When the Torah speaks about shechting a bird, a little small like dove or pigeon, it uses the word malak. Malak means to sever the because it's so it's so small and it's so like brittle, so to speak. So there's no problem to just to malika is this, to do this type of movement which one severs the head from the body. That's called malika. That's the root of Amalek. Amalek severs like a bird when it detaches the body from the head. So on Purim, how do we contrast ourselves with Amalek? There's so many ways that we do it. But one of the ways is that if Amalek treats the mind as maybe like serving it too much, and therefore getting to a situation that, you know what, maybe the mind says, well, maybe it's like this, maybe like that. So what we do is we go to the other extreme. And what we do is we totally, so to speak, ignore the mind, and we all hearts. We are, in a way, we can't tell between Baruch Mordechai and Arur Haman, and but we all heart, we all passion, we all are totally subservient in our minds to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So those are the two reasons, now two of many, many reasons, why we drink excessively to this point, because it all shows about something about the pnimiut of the Jewish people, and all the events that everyone, I'm sure everyone is thinking and talking, especially during this years, attests so loudly and such a vivid evidence to everything that we've said. On the one hand, the Amalek and all the supporters in the world, United Nations, UNRWA, all of that, and on the other hand, the mamash, the reaction of Am Yisrael, that so many people, this has reignited their Jewishness. So that is expressed in our confidence with our drinking. So Chag Purim Sameach to everybody. Have a freiliche Purim and a good Purim, a simcha de Purim and a kedusha de Purim. It's may HaKadosh Baruch Hu be'emet bring a nahafochu, and may He bring us a salvation. Mamash be living in Mashiach times. Kol tov to everybody.